I wouldn't say that I typically look forward to the new year. 2023 was honestly pretty turbulent for me. There were a lot of ups and downs, and it felt like a lot more downs than ups. With that said, I wanted to share a few different things that I've learned during 2023 and a few things that I want to take with me into the new year. First and foremost is that it's normal to feel lost in your 20s. After you graduate college, you've been so used to just knowing what's next. In middle school, you move to high school to college, and then you go through so many different emotions that are new and navigate moving cities or being around a whole new people group, and navigating relationships and your career in general can be a lot. Secondly is that loneliness is just really detrimental to your health. It's something a lot of people go through and is good because it teaches you how to be happier with yourself and how to deal with boredom and alone time, but at the same time, you don't want to get stuck in isolation. That will gradually creep up on you if you are not socializing and making or maintaining relationships that are actually really fulfilling. I don't have to feel bad about my feelings, but it's important for me to recognize the root of where my feeling is coming from. Maybe I can't control how I feel, but I can control what I do with that feeling. Either let it marinate in my brain and just get stuck in negative or poor thoughts patterns, or I can do something to almost distract or get out of that. It could be something as simple as getting active or just calling a good friend on the phone. Despite suffering or hardship, this year more than ever, I really felt that it was leading to perseverance and endurance in a way that I have not been challenged before. Although it kind of sucks in the moment, and it still kind of sucks, I am hopeful for the future and know that I've grown a lot in just my patience and being able to push through things. Being different or weird isn't synonymous with being bad or wrong. Maybe growing up in a non-diverse small town, I'm now processing some of the things, just being a minority, and thoughts I had when I was younger about feeling like I stood out in my head, thinking that that was a bad thing, but now reflecting and kind of unearthing some of those things in my brain and trying to shift my perspective on them. Shout out to my amazing counselor who's been helping me with that. Everyone says live life to your fullest and every day like it's your last. There's balance in that of not doing something you're going to regret later. Odds are hopefully you will keep on living the next day. But I really have felt just learning to be content every day. I used to really plan for the future, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but I want to be more present in the now and just more aware of the space around me, whether it's who I'm with or just to be more curious and excited about every day that I am healthy and have an opportunity to do something in the world. Some of the wisest advice I've gotten is to understand who's in your close circle. When it comes to friendships, especially in adulthood, you have to be really intentional about who you're reaching out to and who you're spending time with. I want to spend time with people that build me up and encourage me, people that I can also do that with. Hopefully it's reciprocated. Over the past year especially, there were just things when I was younger that I had difficulty saying yes or no to, or just standing in my stance. It's been cool to witness even moments when I say something or do something and I'm able to just say it with confidence and not be nervous about how that person's gonna perceive me, but just be confident in how I feel and know that I want to stick with that. Being able to say yes or no to things, or even decommitting to things if I don't have the energy, has been something that I want to definitely take with me into the new year and years to come. Freelancing has definitely helped me to realize where I put my worth in the city, especially where so many people put their worth in their career or relationship. It's important for me to know, even if those things aren't going exactly how I want them, that I am still a valuable human being and I can make an impact, whether I'm working a corporate job, whether I'm freelancing, no matter where, that my character isn't wavering in different circumstances. I'm so excited for just continuous self-discovery. I never expected to be learning more about my adoption or Korean culture or just being Asian American, so that's one specific thing for sure I want to take with me. And I'm sure there's other things like just keeping on discovering my hobbies, likes and dislikes that I want to take with me. It's only January 2nd, or a week into January when I post this, so I would encourage a reset if you're just looking forward to a new year and something just refreshing, something different than 2023. I used Jules Acree's Notion and Declutter series, so good. I started with a digital reset where I erased over 7,000 photos on my phone to clear up more iCloud space, and it's either $3 for 200 gigabytes or it jumps to the next one, which I think is $11 for 2 terabytes. So I wanted to stay under the 200 gigs, which is doable for now. Pro tip, I would suggest buying a hard drive, offloading your photos onto that and labeling it, because while I erased them off my phone, I didn't want them to be gone completely, so now I just have them as backup on my hard drive. Reflection for me really came down to what are the things that filled me this year and what are the things that drained me this year. How can I incorporate more of the things that filled me? They don't even have to be big, they're just the small things that add up in your everyday life. Okay, on to making goals like I love to do. Instead of resolutions, I typically do a 5, 10, and 15-year goal. I just feel like 1 year is not enough to do all of the things, or it's just too short to accomplish something super valuable most of the time. Thinking about the things you enjoyed during childhood and the things that just brought you simple happiness. Just not being afraid to keep dreaming big. I know when you're younger, everyone always asks what you want to be when you grow up, and sometimes we say crazy things. Now that we're older, it's harder to answer that question because you get stuck in your routine, but I still think it's good to consider those dreams and not let them completely be off the table. Before creating my goals, I found it really helpful to write a letter to myself in 10 years. Someone special to me had me write an about the author bio for myself several years ago for years into the future. Doing that exercise was really helpful for me, because if you can envision where you want to be in 10 years, then you can start building habits and making goals now to get to where you want to be. When I was in high school, I interned at this small mom and pop sustainable clothing business. When I went into their studio for the first day, I just remember being so amazed at the space. It was just beautiful and had windows everywhere, and they were right in the woods. And as the seasons would change, you would see that right outside the window. One day I asked a couple how they had started the business, and I just remember so clearly them saying, well, we had a plan and then we just stuck with it. Seems so simple, but at the time I was just like, oh, that's crazy. I mean, it took them, it wasn't just a quick growth for them. This was their 10 years or so at least into their business. So seeing that and understanding how they just started with an idea, but they had set goals and it came to fruition was really encouraging and inspiring. We live in such a society of instant gratification and wanting things now. And I'm curious how many times something comes up where the thing we want is delayed or there's a roadblock, and we're quick to just be like, oh, therefore I'm not gonna do this thing because there was this hiccup and it means that I should not pursue this thing. It's a sign. Having the wisdom to know when it's a sign to stop and when it's just a bump in the road and you need to keep going and keep pursuing it, because getting to the goal could actually be closer than it feels. I use Jules Acree's and Life by Riza's Notion templates, and this is kind of what my goal page looks like. Number one is just to continue creating healthier habits, sleeping on a more consistent schedule, reading more, exercising more, and eating greener. Seems maybe like a lot, but I feel like I already do these things a little bit, so I just need to continue building the habits. I always think of this formula by James Clear written in Atomic Habits. I think the way of habit stacking is pretty genius. An example of that is, say that you want to drink a glass of water every morning. If you brush your teeth, that's something habitual already. You can just say, I'm gonna drink a glass of water after I brush my teeth. So you're like doing this and adding this on top of something you already do. I'm looking forward to growing my YouTube channel. My goal is to 10K this year, and I want to focus on long form content. When I was looking back on my reels, I was actually just kind of sad because I wanted to have more documentation of the memories. It's about time, but I want to launch and grow my climate club and work towards building expertise within climate change. I know there's that 10,000 hours to become an expert in something, and I kind of want to start logging my hours whenever I read a climate article or just have a deep dive into something within the climate sector and see if I can really grow in my education there. I really want to memorize more scripture this year and share the gospel more. After this rough year in 2023, I've actually just come out of it stronger and feel like I've actually grown a more personal relationship with Jesus, which has been exciting because it's something I've always prayed about and felt like my faith was more impersonal. So if it's something I say is important to me, then it's important for me to be taking action and equipping myself well. I really want another full-time job by the end of February. Right now it's kind of a big question mark, but we'll see what that looks like. I'll spare the internet from the nitty-gritty of that part of my life, but that's my last goal. All these are pretty personal to me, but in general, as you're making your goals, you could try using the SMART method, which typically is used in business, but is also really helpful for personal use. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Okay, a little show and tell time because I created this vision board. One year, my friend hosted a vision board party and we had magazines and poster board and we're making physical ones, which was so fun. With a vision board, I think you can take all of those goals that you made and make them into something that is visible and you can look at. Honestly, Canva's the best. You can just type in vision board and there are so many different options. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed, just pick one. And then for pictures, a lot of people use Pinterest for inspiration or they like grab pictures from Pinterest. But this year, I actually just went through my personal camera roll and found memories of people or things that I really enjoyed and want more of in 2024. Well, let's grab this. Okay, so here's mine and I put it as my desktop wallpaper and my iPhone background. You can see each of these sections are just actually each of my goals, the 6 of them, and then just some photos in there. Here are some of my good friends. Here's the skyline of Manhattan with my friend. Just so beautiful. Have to include flowers and fruit, of course. And this is a photo from my hometown, the backyard in my hometown, which is vastly different than the city. Reminds me to slow down and brings me happiness to remember my roots. I wanted to leave off this video with a few 2024 recommendations. These were 3 of my favorite books in 2023 that I would highly recommend. Defining Decade, shout out to my roommate for purchasing that for me. The author is a psychologist who worked with 20s, 30s, and 40s and pretty much looked at people in their 30s and 40s and saw how the things that they did in their 20s affected them. Next is Bird by Bird. Oh my gosh. I don't know why it took me so long to read this book, but Anne Lamott is a true writer, author, genius. The subtitle, Instructions on Writing and Life, could not be truer. It's a perfect blend of wit and good wisdom. And even if you aren't interested in writing or anything creative, I think you will find it as a good read. And the last one is Garden City, and I'm still finishing that book right now. It really reminds me of another book, Surprised by Hope, which is just talking about our calling here on earth as God's people. And it's interesting to think about Eden being a garden and then at the end Eden being a garden and a city, hence Garden City. I really have been thinking about the effect that social media has on my subconscious. I'm reevaluating how I'm approaching it for 2024. So for less social media usage, I'm gonna try to use some of these apps instead. I just bought a New York Times subscription. Right now, they were running a deal for $1 a week when it's typically $5 a week. So it's a 6-month trial for whatever, it's like $24, $25 for 6 months. And it also comes with the games. I tried it yesterday and it was really fun. Quizlet, I'm trying to memorize more stuff. So between Duolingo, my roommates and I split a Duolingo family plan, which has been pretty great. We are all doing really well on our streaks. I've used Map My Run and 30-Day Workout for the past few years. They're good for helping me track my exercise goals. Also, I got a Kindle for Christmas this year and I think it's about to change my life, especially when it comes to reading on the subway or just having something that's super compact and I can take with me anywhere. To conclude, I'm just gonna reiterate because as I'm 25, it just feels like maybe I should be further in life than I am, or I've always been so sure about certain things that now I'm not so sure about anymore. I think I need to stop thinking like that for 2024. There are a lot of new things, a lot of unknowns, but it should also just be really exciting. And I want my mindset to just be a little healthier towards all the ambiguities and unknowns. Let me know what your goals are for 2024 and if you have any fun traditions for the new year. And if you like this video, don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe. Have a great day and first week of the new year. Bye.